Welcome to The Explainer. You know, if you're a brand owner or a procurement manager trying to navigate the global sportswear market right now, you already know it's no longer just about aesthetics. It is completely driven by textile innovation, sustainable certifications, and frankly, supply chain agility. China is still the absolute powerhouse for technical apparel, but the rules of engagement, they have totally transformed. Here's the reality for 2026. Finding a factory is easy. Seriously, you can do that in 5 minutes on your phone. But finding your perfect match? That's the real challenge. So today we're opening up the ultimate matchmaker's playbook to give you a structured roadmap straight to your ideal manufacturing partner. Here's exactly how we're going to break this down. First, the 2026 sourcing shift. Then, finding your factory match. Next, strategic manufacturing clusters, followed by the procurement workflow, and finally, verifying your supplier.
Okay, let's dive into Section 1, the 2026 sourcing shift from cut and sew to high-tech agility. Pre-2026, China was practically famous for these high-volume, labor-intensive cut-and-sew operations. But honestly, that era is completely outdated. That labor-heavy production has actually migrated inland or even out to Southeast Asia. Today's reality in the coastal hubs is all about high-tech R&D. We're talking integrated moisture-wicking, antimicrobial, and thermoregulating smart fabrics. But even more importantly, these factories are operating with incredibly agile supply chains. They're offering flexible models that cater specifically to TikTok Shop and Shopify brands that just require much smaller batches. And alongside this agility comes a massive, absolutely crucial shift towards sustainability. If you want to ensure your sportswear is actually eco-friendly, you've got to look for GRS. That's the Global Recycled Standard. This is a huge part of the 2026 shift. It basically proves that the polyester and nylon you're using is genuinely post-consumer recycled. And here's a pro tip for you. To actually verify those eco-friendly claims, you have to request a transaction certificate, or TC, for every single shipment. That is literally what verifies your chain of custody. Don't skip it. Moving right along to Section 2, finding your factory match. Don't bring a Shopify budget to a Nike tier factory. Now, what's really interesting is the vast difference in manufacturing tiers. Take vertical giants like Shenzhou International in Ningbo. They are industry-leading, handling everything from fabric R&D to final assembly for massive brands like Nike and Uniqlo. But look at their typical MOQ. We're talking 10,000 plus pieces with a 90 to 120-day lead time. They are basically inaccessible to small buyers. Now contrast that with agile factories like Zhaozhou and Dongguan. Their MOQ is a highly accessible 100 to 500 pieces, and they can turn it around in just 30 to 45 days. They are literally built for the Amazon era. You absolutely have to pick the tier that matches your business model. So let's figure out exactly which strategy you need to adopt based on your scale. If you're an e-commerce seller, you must prioritize low MOQs and fast lead times, specifically under 30 days. Why? Well, because you need to restock your winning SKUs fast to avoid losing your Amazon buy box rankings. Makes sense, right? Now, if you're a private label brand owner, you need to seek out ODM, or original design manufacturer partners. They'd already have a whole library of designs you can customize with your logo, which saves you immense R&D costs. And if you're a bulk buyer or wholesaler, your matchmaking profile means focusing on highly automated factories to ensure consistent price-to-volume ratios across 50,000 plus units. Let's move to Section 3, Strategic Manufacturing Clusters, Mapping China's Sportswear Hubs. Knowing exactly where to look in China helps consolidate shipments and pinpoint expertise. So, let's map out these 3 main sportswear hubs, because each region has a very distinct flavor. Fujian, specifically Xinjiang and Guangzhou, is the world's capital for athletic footwear and teamwear printing. So, if you're a professional cycling label needing waterproof membranes, you go to a specialist like Sportex in Fujian. Next is Guangdong, specifically Dongguan and Guangzhou. This is your fast fashion and yoga wear hub. With specialized fabric markets like Zongda and plenty of agile factories, this is exactly where startups and e-commerce sellers should be hunting. Finally, Zhejiang is where you go for high-end textiles. Those massive vertical giants we just talked about, and incredible seamless knitting technology. All right, let's see how this builds in Section 4, the procurement workflow, from the first date to the marriage contract. I really need you to treat this workflow as an absolute, non-negotiable playbook. Seriously, approaching a professional factory with just a blurry smartphone photo of a t-shirt and hoping for the best is a guaranteed path to a very expensive disaster. Step 1 is tech pack preparation. You need a full bill of materials, detailed size charts, and specific fabric GSM. Step 2 is sampling. Ask for a proto sample for fit, a salesman sample for fabric feel, or leverage the growing trend of 3D digital sampling to speed things up. Step 3 is your compliance audit. Demand their latest BSCI, SEDEX, or WRAP reports. And step 4, contractual safeguards. Your purchase order must specify AQL 2.5 or 4.0, that stands for acceptable quality level, to set the standard for your inspections. Now, during that compliance phase, there's one standard that stands head and shoulders above the rest for sportswear, Ocotec Standard 100. Sportswear just isn't like standard fast fashion, right? It requires complex functional finishing treatments to create moisture wicking, UV protection, and anti-odor properties. This certification is the insider secret to ensuring absolutely no harmful chemicals are present in those treatments. And by the way, those complex functional treatments adding extra steps to the fabric production cycle before a single piece is even cut, that is exactly why sportswear requires longer lead times than basic fashion. Which brings us to Section 5, verifying your supplier, mitigating risk in 2026. So let me pose this question directly to you. How do you actually verify a sportswear supplier in 2026? Because while platforms like Alibaba and global sources are great starting points, seasoned procurement professionals know you have to move way beyond the basics. You absolutely need a multi-layered verification approach. First up, video audits. Don't just settle for a polished showroom tour. Ask for a live video walkthrough of the factory floor to verify they actually own specialized machinery, like those flat-lock stitchers essential for high-quality sportswear. Second, third-party inspections. For technical fabrics, you literally require a DPRO, that's a during-production inspection, from companies like Kima or VTrust. You have to catch issues like fabric shrinkage before the whole run is finished, because it's too late otherwise. And third, financial health. Check their registered capital and audit their business scope to ensure you're dealing with a real manufacturer and not just a trading company masquerading as a factory. Sourcing sportswear effectively requires discipline, geographical strategy, and an airtight workflow. So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought to assess your own readiness. Is your business ready right now with a complete tech pack to go out and find its perfect manufacturing match? Because the factories are out there waiting. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy sourcing!